Strides Pharma. It's restructuring the business. Drug maker is exiting its Australia business, buying some companies and shifting its geographical focus. But markets are not impressed. Darshan is standing by to tell us what's ailed the stock the last few days. Darshan, continuous fall the last few days.
Yeah, so basically the other part is, first of all, ahead of the numbers, the stock went up 20% on the anticipation of decent numbers, and probably someone had the clue of probably this restructuring that went up. But more important that this restructuring did not aid the stock. In fact, the stock corrected almost 20% because the numbers, at least for the last 8 to 10 quarters at least, have been disappointing for Strides. In line or disappointing. Last 2 quarters have been in line, but apart from it, it has been disappointing. What was the announcement? They said that they will exit the Australia business for $394 million, Australian million dollars. 300 they will get now. 94 will be in an escrow account. And with the money that they get, they will largely reduce debt to the tune of 1,000 crores, and they will buy some of the smaller companies in Europe and America and Canada. So that's the trend, that what they have said, but these are all small acquisition. Now, firstly, the positives, which are less, and I'll highlight that. First of all, they're saying because of selling this, they will retire debt by close to 1,000 crores immediately. That puts a lot of deleveraging on the balance sheet, so that is positive. Interest cost will be lower going ahead because they will be able to repay the debt. Amortization cost will be also lower, and US now emerges as the key focus market, so that's the positive. Now the negative, and I think that's the big problem, is that there is no consistency in business. 3 years ago or 4 years ago, when they bought the Australia business, they said this will be the big business for us, we will grow here, we will merge it with Apotex and all, and suddenly when time came, they sold off the business. And Strides has a history of changing strategy, so that is something that institutional investors don't like. So there's no clear indication of what the capital deployment will be over the next few years. Secondly, there are challenges, and changing priority in markets keeps the business elusive. So there's no steady market for this thing. So one time it was India, but then it became Africa, then it became Australia, now it's becoming US. So that's the changing strategy, which is not finding favor. Apart from it, there are challenges in the developed markets and regulated markets to scale up. Europe has been very elusive for most of the pharma companies in India. The larger companies are not able to grow scale in the US, and Strides will have a very small portion. So whether they will be able to do or no, or whether they'll grow to a certain size and then sell it off again, no one knows apart from it. There are lesser than expected synergies that came in from the Australia merger. When they acquired the Australian company, after they went back there after almost 7-8 years, and then they say we will grow this, the synergies didn't come in. So whatever they paid for, they are getting the same amount back. No doubt they're saying that APIs will remain, they will remain API suppliers, or some IPs will remain, but that's not great, because what they bought 4 years ago, they're selling it at the same amount. As far as there is erosion in the institutional business, Africa is trading weak, so the dependence now becomes only on the US markets, and everyone knows how tough it is for them. The multiple obviously contracts now, because no one is the multiple that they got was because of the Australia business, which was a high sticky business. It was a hedging business, and the amount they would have gotten would be pretty much assured. Now, why will someone give a high multiple to Strides when they are again going in for the US markets, when there are thousands of other companies which are actually going for there? And history shows it that apart from an Aurobindo, which has done reasonably well, European business is very difficult. You've seen how companies like Dr. Reddy's have exited the German business, and also it's very difficult, and they are entering there. So that multiple clearly won't be there. What do you watch out now for Strides going ahead? Whether the traction will continue in the US markets, they will need to maintain traction. They did well in the US markets, but the scale is very small. So initially the growth will come in, but whether that will sustain or no. And apart from it, they need to maintain the leverage on the books. Now they have managed to get back the debt down. That they need to maintain it at that, and if they spend, they will have to spend it carefully on that. So that's something that you would want to watch out for. Brokerages no doubt are bullish on them. Most of them did manage to raise the target price on Strides post the numbers that came out, but overall they also maintain that the big issue is there is no clarity, no business focus, and that's the big concern that they have on Strides.
Okay, and maybe which is why after that 15-20% uptick ahead of the numbers, the stock has come down in equal steady moves for the last 5, 6, 7 odd days. Darshan, thanks for putting that into perspective. Well, really, if you were wondering what's happening to Strides over the last 7 days, you have the answer now.